Well, that warm-up through the early half of this week was quite welcomed, but we are going to continue to see some of those temperatures across the GTA still above seasonal, still above the freezing mark as we're heading into this afternoon. 4 in Oakville, 3 in Toronto, but that was definitely not the case earlier this morning, where we saw widespread snow across regions of the GTA and even some mixing. And I want to bring in Mark Robinson in Guelph. The snow still coming down, and my, those snowflakes are fluffy.
Yeah, they're very, very fluffy. They have nice, heavy, wet snow, good for making snowballs and snowmen. And I'm going to see if I can, I always try this, see if I can get the camera. Nope, missed. But I will send it back inside to you, and no snowballs as well.
Well, you almost scared me with that snowball, so thanks for that, Mark. Thank you so much for joining us. We are talking about the system heading into tomorrow. Like Mark mentioned, this is going to be more impactful across regions of the GTA because it is in Alberta Clipper moving on through. Not so much of an impact for your morning commute, but it will be an impact as we're heading into Friday afternoon. Widespread across the GTA, we are going to be looking at heavy snowfall, very quick accumulating as well. On the back end of this, that warm air is still going to be hovering around. So once that snow does pass on through, we will be looking at a rain-snow mix heading into your evening. So that evening commute, it will be a little bit more treacherous. We're still going to have to hone in on the details of this as we're heading into tomorrow and through the day today. So be sure to join us. But we will be looking at more of that rain and then clearing out on the back end. How much snow are we talking? Well, this includes all the snow that's falling through the day on Thursday, including tomorrow. We can be looking at upwards of 10 centimeters of snow for areas across southern Ontario through Toronto into Niagara. Just with the warm air lingering, we may see accumulation slightly below that, so closer to 5. Well, we are going to continue to cover all of the snow that has fallen across regions of the GTA earlier this morning. Now, as we do head into the afternoon, I just want to give you all a quick look at the snowfall accumulation. Most of it will taper off. However, there will be a lot of places that continue to see that sporadic amount of flurries that are pushing on through the day today. The bigger story is going to be into tomorrow. But before we get into all of that, Mark Robinson joining us. Mark, you are in the thick of some of that snow for this afternoon as well. How are the conditions? How are you seeing things?
Let me show you, and I'm just gonna, there we go. Just gonna sit in my little pile of snow and wait for spring. Back inside to you.
Thanks for that. That looks not so comfortable. But I'm going to break everything down for people why it's getting cold and this active storm track. So we have troughing that is taking over the eastern portions of Canada, and right between the ridge in the west and the cold air from the north, we have this active storm track. That is where the Clipper is riding as we are heading into our day on Friday. Will be an impactful system. So like Mark mentioned, if you can leave work a little bit earlier, might as well do that, because we are looking at snowfall rates as high as 2 centimeters an hour, very deteriorated when it comes to some of that visibility through your evening commute. It will, however, looks like transition over to rainfall. We're going to hone in on those details closely through the day today, and then it will taper off as we're heading into our day on Saturday. In terms of the snowfall accumulation, heaviest right along the escarpment down towards the Golden Horseshoe. We can be seeing a little bit lower amounts thanks to some of the warmer air influence.
Now time for In the Know, and it is Thursday, February 27th. February's almost over. Did it go by in a blink of an eye, or did you think it was never going to end?
No, thankfully it ended really quickly comparative to January. That felt like 3 months itself.
Totally. It always does. And before Rhythm and I talk about, the weather patterns, we know that we've had a bit of a lull, certainly a bit of a melt in many parts of the country. And while that might be good for shrinking snow banks, it could be problematic for those who want to spend time on the ice. Well, definitely a timely story here, and as mentioned, no ice is safe, but gray ice, you saw that, is particularly dangerous. Okay, let's segue that into temperatures, because that has a big story. We've been seeing some milder air. Is that going to continue with it?
Well, unfortunately for eastern Canada, it is not. We will be looking at more of that cooling across the region through this weekend, whereas the west, they will stay warm. Yeah. And one of the reasons for that is because Across the west, we still have that ridge of high pressure. That's going to bring those sunny conditions, but more of that active storm track across the east. And then we have this one system that's going to be riding right along that jet stream down towards regions of southern Ontario.
Absolutely. So this one had its origins in the North Pacific. It brought the winds to Haida-Gwaii. It's been bringing snow in the Yukon and Northwest Territories, and really mainly north of Fort McMurray, north of Prince Albert, north of Winnipeg. That's where we're seeing some of that heavier axis of snow. But, you know, getting towards northwestern Ontario, Dryden and Thunder Bay, you could get into some beefy amounts of snow tonight into tomorrow morning.
Yeah, 20 to 25 centimeters for Thunder Bay. So I think some of the little kids are going to be happy for a possible snow day, but I'm not guaranteeing anything. Now, that same system is going to move in across regions of southern Ontario. Before that, a low pressure system just pushing on through. That's going to bring snowfall across areas of the eastern townships, southern Quebec through the day today. That's your clipper. So for early morning across Thunder Bay, and then that moves into areas across southern Ontario for Friday afternoon into the evening, even seeing a little bit of mixing on the back end of this with some rain.
Now, the combined two systems today sort of warm up, and tomorrow afternoon, evening's main event. Some areas, especially north of Toronto, could be looking at east up to 15 or more centimeters of snow. And Quebec, this is really through Saturday, similar amounts for some big populated centers.